الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. I'd like to read a little bit about Ul-Fitr and Sadaqat al-Fitr. Fitr is breaking the fast, and Sadaqat al-Fitr is the charity given away at the conclusion of fasting month of Ramadan. It was enjoined upon by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam the same year that fasting was made obligatory. That was about 18 months after the Hijrah. Technically about between 18 months and 2 years after Hijrah. Muslim fasting during the month of Ramadan do all they can to observe the sanctity of the sacred month by obeying the Sharia instructions in this regard. Yet wittingly or unwittingly, they commit mistakes and errors. Sadaqat al-Fitr, that is the Eid charity, has been enjoined upon them to inculcate the habit of expending one's wealth willingly in the cause of Allah and to atone for the small errors, to make the fast as perfect as possible and so acceptable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Besides this, the great wisdom and benefit of enjoining Eid charity on the well-to-do persons is to help and enable the poor and needy individuals of society also to obtain for themselves the basic necessities of life a little more easily and join others in the celebration of Eid and the great congregational services held on this occasion. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam enjoined Sadaqat al-Fitr so that the faster are purified of their indecent and shameful errors, and the poor and the needy ones are enabled to arrange for their basic necessities of food and clothing. Therefore, the sadaqah of the person who gives it away before the Eid prayer will be accepted by Allah as real charity. But Sadaqat al-Fitr, who delays and pays it afterwards, will be treated as ordinary charity. That is Abu Dawud and Ibn Majah. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Tirmidhi states, "Let it be known that Sadaqat al-Fitr is a duty incumbent on every Muslim, whether male or female, free or slave, minor or major." Sadaqat al-Fitr becomes obligatory on every Muslim who is alive at the appearance of dawn on the Eid day. Though Sadaqat becomes obligatory at dawn on the Eid day, its purpose and spirit demand that it should be distributed amongst the poor and needy people a few days earlier so as to enable them to make necessary arrangements for their food and clothing well in time for the celebration of Eid and congregational prayers. Miscellaneous regulations, which we'll read only a couple. One or more persons may give away their total charities to one or more needy persons as and when required. I'll read that again. One or more persons may give away their total charities to one or more needy persons as and when required. E-charities can be sent to other places if needed or if need be. But this should not be done except under extreme circumstances. I want to talk about the Eid today, or the Eid prayer, or Sadaqat Ul-Fitr, because these outlines clearly state that Zakat Ul-Fitr, or Sadaqat Ul-Fitr, is for the poor and the needy. It's for the disenfranchised. It's for those people who are at the lower rung of the Islamic movement, let's say. And so if we were to look at ourselves and we were to characterize ourselves, we would have to characterize ourselves in relation to the Muslim community as exists here in the United States. Not in Afghanistan and not in Pakistan, but here. So if we were to characterize ourselves, we would be a strong Islamic movement with many needs. Financial needs, supportive needs. We would need the larger Muslim community not to isolate us, but to embrace us, not to cut us off from themselves and other activities, but to support us. So that would be the need, or some of our needs. I want to read, before we get into this in depth, about the zakat. And Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Innama sadaqatu lil-fuqara'i wal-masikin wa-amilin alayha wal-mu'alafatul qulubihim wa-fi al-rikab wal-gharimin wa-fi sabilillahi وَإِبْنُ السَّبِيلِ فَرِيدَةً مِنَ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ حَكِيمٌ. Charitable gifts, that is zakat, are but for the poor and the destitute and the collectors thereof and those reconciled of heart and in manumitting slaves, and for those in debt in the way of Allah, and for the stranded traveler as an ordinance of Allah. Allah is all-knowing, all-wise. There are 8 categories of people who can receive zakat. This is, of course, an ayat from Quran. And there are 8 categories, and all the books of fiqh relate to Zakat Ul-Fitr as linked to charity. That's why it says, Innama sadaqatu lil-fuqara'i. So, these 8 categories, I'll just mention them quickly. Fuqara are the poor, the indigent. Masakin are the needy and the destitute. Amilin alayha are the ones who are employed to help collect the zakat. Mu'alafatul qulub are those people like us. Their hearts have been recently reconciled to Islam. They might be new Muslims. They can receive zakat because they may have had a job and the lady have now accepted Islam, but they want her to wear a hatsy-tatsy suit, like some of the places wear. What's those hatsy-tatsy places? Anyway, they might want them to wear that. Before she was wearing it, but now she's a Muslim. So when she's unemployed, she's qualified. She qualifies easily for zakat because she have newly accepted Islam and the circumstances demand that she cannot work in the job that she had until she finds another employment. So those people are called mu'alafatul qulub, those whose hearts have recently been reconciled to Islam. Fear al-rikab. Rikab means neck. So those who are in bondage, those people who are in bondage, and I'll get on to it in a minute, but if you're in bondage and you contract with your owner or master at that time, then the community can pay for your freedom out of zakat. Okay. Al-Gharimin, those who are in debt. Ibn Sabil, the traveler or the wayfarer. Farida is an order, so it's obligatory upon those people, right? Farida, it's a fard. Yeah, it's a fard. So when it says Faridatan min Allahi wallahu alayhim hakim, it's an ordinance of Allah, and Allah is all-knowing, wise. Now, I would like to go over systematically the people who are, and this is from Maulana Maududi, and it outlines, I like it because it has the names of the people and their outline. So according to the Arabic uses, fuqara, that is the needy, are all those people who depend on others for the necessities of life. The Arabic word fuqara is a general word for all those who are needy because of some physical defects, or old age, or temporarily, and can become self-supporting if they are helped. They might have some of these disabilities, old age, and they need a little help. And they don't have children to support them. Some physical defect, they have a physical defect, they maybe can't walk, or they might be blind. Or this case might be temporary, and if they can get a little help for a while, then they would become self-supporting. Orphans, widows, and unemployed. So, if we were to judge ourselves, that is our community, by this first standard, as needy, we would have to consider what are we dealing with. Are we needy? Well, we have something that we're up against and we're trying to do. that is an Islamic provider. Okay, years ago we used to be in contact with everybody on a good friendly basis. It was not necessary to hustle that much. We were a good self-supporting community here and in Oakland. I mean, pretty much so. In fact, if we had programs with other Muslims and they looked at us as though they were going to give us a pass on contributing to the rally or what have you, we would say no. How much is our contribution? If they said $400, we'd go in our back pocket, just like that. Over the years, there's been a systematic isolating our community, systematic cutting off of our community. We have endured happily unreasonable amounts of fines, indignities, and all other, you can't even, nobody even has any idea the amount of fitna that we have dealt with, and cheerfully, and overcome. And we're still here. But are we needy? We would be classified as needy because of all of these things that are, we are just beginning to pick up enough people to kind of support the community. In a few months, we should have plenty of people to, if it goes at the rate it's going, to support the community. If you were to check our books, you wouldn't, the books would not match up. They don't match. Especially with what we do. You got to remember, Zakat Ul-Fitr is given hopefully beforehand so that there's some food, if people need clothing, if people need all of those things, they can get that and they could be able to participate in a wonderful Eid celebration. That's what it says it's for. On the other hand, if we're isolated and if we're cut off from all the other Muslims, but we still have iftar every night. And a nice iftar. You know, when we fed the people out there the other day, which we'll continue to do, somebody said, man, this is home-cooked food. Do you know there's younger people who don't eat home-cooked food? There are people, the white folks said it on, the Americans said it on, that Americans are forgetting how to cook. They cannot cook. That's not everybody, but many people. Some people take cooking as a hobby. They like to cook. Believe it or not, some people's daily meal, the mother stops at McDonald's and gets something, well, I got us this and that today. That's their food. F-O-O-D. That's their nourishment. Everybody's wondering why the whole family's all puffed up and everything. Well, the food is full of salt. They got them a big drink. You see them drinks? They got them a drink. Someplace you can stop, you can get 44 ounces. Smallest you're going to get is probably 16 ounces. But I mean, them drinks, cold drinks. You see the cup? The 12-ounce cup has 10 teaspoons or tablespoons of sugar. What the hell is 48 ounces, 44 ounces? The kids drink that. They wonder why everybody obese. But anyway, they have, we serve the people every night. Okay, alhamdulillah. During the first part of the month, during the first week or so, people might load in and they load up, they put stuff in there, yet they get, but that goes away after about the last 20 days. It's $10, $20 in the box, which is about it. But everybody's still eating. We cannot explain to people the books how we're doing this. We didn't forget to try to, we just don't try to follow it. And we keep good books, but they don't never match. So are we needy? You better know it. We would be considered needy. Because we're different than the other sinners. Whatever we get, we're going to give it away anyway. We've been doing that, and we always do it. If somebody in another place has a problem, well, with raising money, we go out to California, we take $35,000 out there. This is a cashier's check, so we have a receipt that we know what we did. Or $49,000 or $50,000, or a fine for 25, 24, all of that. Okay, so would we now be considered the fuqara? Yes. Now, according to Arabic usage, masakin are those indigenous people who are in greater distress than the needy. They were shaped in the fuqara. To help such people as are unable to find the necessary means to satisfy their wants and are in very straitened circumstances, but are so self-respecting that they would not beg for anyone, nor would others judge from their outward appearance that they were deserving people. That those, the charity reach those really in help, in need. But they don't ask. According to the tradition, Masakin is one who cannot make both ends meet, though his appearance does not show that he needs help, nor does he beg for help. In short, he is a self-respecting man who has become needy. Since he don't ask,